Hey YouTube, I hope you guys are doing wonderful. So I wanted to do a follow-up video. Sometimes I will get comments or messages and things like that regarding house blessings or what Catholicism refers to as minor exorcisms. When we're using like demonic hauntings and stuff like that and actually removing the entity or haunting or oppression that's in that house. So I've been working in demonology and on demonic cases, removing them for 10 years now. A little over 10 years now. And I've been studying metaphysics and paranormal and such since I was about 11 years old, with paranormal experiences and psychic stuff and death premonitions and things like that since I was about like 3 or 4 years old. But anyway, so the common thing that I get, and I totally understand why people think this, and usually it's out of fear, unfortunately, but where people are like, you can't mix house blessing methods, or you can't mix different religions and cultures. And in their mind, for some reason, God is not capable of being like the creator of all these different societies and cultures and civilizations, like, and religions. Like, that's just outside of their scope of understanding. And I was trying to come up with like a metaphor to help people understand, I think, how universal and amazing God is, our divine creator, great spirit, whatever you want to call it. It says that God has many different names. I kind of think it's like a he, she, it type thing. It's of light and love. That is exactly what God is. And I've come to this philosophy after my 16 plus years of research, personal experiences. I had an out-of-body experience when I had an operation, and talking with other gifted people or other individuals who've had near-death experiences, things like that. So when I started working in house blessings when I was about 17 years old, mind you, we've had a 98% success rate. The only times we have problems with house blessings are if a client doesn't want to give up something that drew the entity in, like alcoholism or substance abuse or domestic violence or things like that. When they can't separate themselves from those negative habits or dysfunction, which is why the entity was drawn to them. So when I started this, I researched a bunch of different cultures and religions and demonology, and demons are actually a global, worldwide phenomena thing. It happens all around the world. There's different methods people use for house blessings, like the Bhutanese people, even in Japan or in South America or in Native American culture, things like that. And it's hard for people to understand that like this stuff exists outside their belief system they were taught. And people are scared to question that, or are afraid, or think it's wrong or something like that. I have my beliefs, and I know our divine creator, we are all its children and creations, basically, is how I view it. And so I just ask that my clients believe in a higher power and call upon God during our house blessings, and it works. I do a non-denominational approach because I try not to put my own beliefs in people's heads. But here's a metaphor that I kind of came up with to try to describe about using these different methods or combining them, which some people think is blasphemous, but God is so beyond our comprehension. I think it's pompous for us to be like, oh, well, God can only function in this facet or something. And I think it's silly. So for me, example, like this would be Christianity. A knife, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. This would be like Islam or something. It's a spoon. And let's just say like this is Judaism or whatever. And people are like, these cannot work together. They just can't. They are not the same, and they're so different. When you look at it, they're all used for the same thing. We're here to have a meal, and these are tools to feed yourself nourishment with. You know what I mean? It's the best metaphor I could come up with. So, and you can use these together in a way. Some people have a really hard time accepting that, or they think it's wrong or whatever. I personally believe in God. I use the name Jesus Christ. I had an out-of-body experience where I saw Jesus. But the thing is that if somebody believes in God, that's all I can ask for. Thank God that they believe in that, And some people will ruin their chances or ability of reaching someone on a spiritual level when they try to force their denomination down someone's throat. And I think that's missing the point. It's a little bit tricky. So basically, religion and spirituality and these beliefs and stuff like that, like, yeah, aside from Satanism and stuff, I really do believe that when people develop and evolve on different continents, They're going to have different names for a divine creator. They're going to have different stories, although there are many similar stories, which is pretty interesting. There was like the virgin birth in ancient Egyptian culture and folklore and stuff like that. And about a great flood. There's also a great flood in like Native American spirituality and legends as well, too. So I get excited when I had studied multiple different cultures and religions and you see like similarities. I think there's a thread of truth in everything. I look at people's practices in their religion or culture. Are they trying to be good people? Are they making a difference? You know, are they not judging? Are they actually loving and respecting one another and helping one another? That's what matters. That's why we're here. And we should all be brothers and sisters and get along and get over the stupid judgment thing of like my religion or my way is better than yours. You are isolating yourself, and God does not want that. God wants us to all be together as a family to worship one and only God, you know, and it's interesting. I've seen other house blessing methods work. You know, and what's interesting, there's science behind it now. For the people who are like, this isn't possible, this just cannot be right, is that in different multiple house blessing methods, say like smudging with white sage or frankincense or holy water or a couple different other methods in trial study, they all altered the ions in the environment. All of them. All of them. To me, and this is controversial, I get it, but I'm looking at science and what I've seen and studied is that God is beyond our man-made concepts and understanding. If God created the universe and the molecular build of all these things and that how everything is perfectly put together in this world, all this other stuff, you think that God can't exist beyond our social, cultural views or something like that and that we are all created by the same force? Like, why is that hard to understand? I don't know. Probably preaching the choir to some of you guys because a lot of you understand that, but there's some people that struggle with that and they're like, no way. No. And even if people have different views of yours, it doesn't mean you should hate them or condemn them or judge them. Like, that's like for Christians and stuff, for them to be like, this is wrong, you know, because that's what they're taught, you know, and we're taught to, you know, hate and judge in some ways. You're actually really supposed to be loving and accepting one another. Love thy neighbor. You know, we are brothers and sisters. We are all God's kids, basically. And why can't we just get along? That would be nice. Just get along. Change the world. But anyways, yeah. The other concept too, and things I've seen on comments and stuff from like YouTube videos or whatever, is that you can only be a demonologist if you're ordained through the church. Almost no demonologists are actually ordained through the church, and that actually isn't true with the Catholic Church and Catholicism. It's actually a personal perspective or mindset. Demonology is a worldwide thing, and demonology is an ology like any other ology, like psychology, sociology. It's the study of something, and so that doesn't actually require being through the church unless that's the route you want to take. So that's an option. The course that I teach starts from a global worldwide phenomenon, then I narrow it down into Western, Abrahamic, Christian Catholic like view, basically, because those are the types of entities that I seem to deal with. But yeah, so that was interesting. Hopefully this makes sense. I don't know. Some people this is just not going to click with and it offends them. And I'm sorry. It's not why I'm making this video. This video is actually about to like love and respect and appreciate one another, which really is our goal down here. It is. That's what God wants us to do, is to get along and help one another and love and accept and respect and appreciate and help. But a lot of people don't do that. So anyways, YouTube, I love you guys much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.